Yeah, it seems that we have elections every 6 months. It's not always the case, but it being an election year. And then after that, you've got the consolidated elections in April of next year. But before that, we've got the November midterm general election. And just a few weeks ago, we had the primary here in Illinois. So it's a lot of balloting. A lot of people going to the polls to cast their votes, but there's also the important aspect of you, the voter, being informed about what your rights are and what you are able to do to ensure that there's integrity in elections. And coming up here in just a few days, we're actually going to have a training seminar here in Springfield presented by FreedomWorks. And Carol Davis is with the Election Integrity Initiative, the Election Protection Initiative with FreedomWorks, and she's going to be conducting that training. Carol, thanks for taking time with us here on WMAY.
Well, thank you so much, Greg. It's a pleasure to be with you this morning.
So what should people expect with this training, and when is it?
Well, it is Tuesday, August 16th, and it's in the evening, 6:30 to 8:30 p.m., and people can register. We do suggest and encourage registration in advance because that way we will have enough of our workbooks. There's no charge for this workshop, but we do give every attendee a 32-page workbook that covers the material, and they can register by calling 217-652-2188.
Now, I understand that there was like a online registration system that was put together, but that was ended after apparently a flood of what was suspected to be bogus sock puppet accounts, bots, or something along those lines. How often does this happen with election training sessions that you host, and what do you think's behind that?
Well, unfortunately, it's happening more and more. And I'm sorry to say that people on the hard left don't seem to want people to gather together and hear how they can be civically minded citizens and exercise their First Amendment rights. And it's very sad what's happening. But that doesn't deter us. If people call the number to register, they'll get the location and they'll be able to come and join us. And the bottom line, Greg, is that we, the people, need to be involved in every aspect of our government. And too often, people just think, well, someone else will do that. Well, the sad truth is that not enough people are doing it. And so we are very short of election judges and poll watchers and people to just make sure that our elections run smoothly and according to these statutes. It's as simple as that.
We're talking with Carol Davis. She is with FreedomWorks and the Election Protection Initiative, a training coming up August 16th here in Springfield. It's an evening training, so you can definitely schedule this after work from 6:30 to 8:30. You can call to register at 217-652-2188. Carol, give us just an overview here of some of the things that I think people don't necessarily know about. An extra role that they can take in elections, not just going to the polling place and casting a ballot, but they can actually provide oversight at their election polling place.
Yes, and even though I work for FreedomWorks, which is, of course, based in D.C., my home is here in Illinois. So I have been what we call here in Illinois an election judge for 18 election cycles. Sorry, I don't know exactly how many years it is, because, of course, some years we have a primary and a general. But, yes, serving on the front lines as an election judge gives you quite a bit of authority in the polling place. The election judges are in charge of conducting the election in the polling place and checking in voters, verifying voters, making sure they're being given the correct ballot. You would be surprised, Greg, how often, and I'm sorry to say poorly trained judges will hand a voter the wrong ballot, and the voter isn't aware that they've got the wrong ballot, and so they kind of muddle through. But there's ways voters can check to make sure they're going to get the right ballot. And we teach those sort of things.
So we also have mail-in balloting here in the state of Illinois. It's expanded, and I believe that there's even policies now that allow for permanent mail-in balloting. If you request a mail-in ballot, you can have it sent to your home each election for the different elections that there are. How can there be oversight whenever those are collected and ultimately counted? Can there be poll watchers watching all of these mail-in ballots coming in?
Absolutely. And we are strongly encouraging and recruiting poll watchers. In addition to my work with FreedomWorks, of course, I'm the chairman of the Illinois Conservative Union. And so our work here in Illinois is very Illinois specific. And sadly, our drop boxes, the statutes don't require that they have video monitoring. So we encourage strongly people getting involved in doing poll watching during the vote by mail processing. It's really important. We are not fans of all of the vote by mail that's going on because we call it unsupervised voting. And when you have no accountability, people's human nature sometimes is tempting to take shortcuts or, circumvent the law. So we're not fans of that.
So again, a training of sorts, an overview of roles that voters can take beyond just being voters during elections, which obviously are extremely important. And you've got to understand, what your role is. And Carol Davis is going to be conducting that training coming up August 16th. It's a Tuesday. You can register for the evening training at 217-652-2188. Carol, greatly appreciate you taking the time this morning. And finally here, just for people who are tuning in, what's going on with this training? Who should come to this training?
Well, any citizen who's, we've all had questions over the last several years, especially about how our voting process is being conducted. So any citizen interested in making and ensuring that the process is done correctly should come. And we teach everything from how to monitor your local elections office, how to use the Freedom of Information Act to put transparency and accountability into what's going on in elections. And then, of course, we teach poll watcher training, and I do a supplemental election judge training so that judges know their true power in the polling place.
Greatly appreciate it, and we may talk again soon as we watch all of this unfold, not just for the November general midterm, but also you've got city elections as well, so maybe we talk about all of that coming up early next year. Carol Davis, she is the director for FreedomWorks' Election Protection Initiative. Greatly appreciate it, and be safe out there.
Thank you, Greg.
It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY. Springfield.